Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Network Africa on Channels Television. I'm Cynthia Are. Here are the top stories. We begin with an update from Burundi. There's a lot of confusion as regards who is really in control as well as the whereabouts of the President Pierre Nkurunziza. Based on the reports we're getting, rival groups of soldiers in Burundi are vying for control of the capital, Bujumbura, amid confusion over the success of an attempted coup. There's heavy fighting at the state radio building where broadcasts have been going on and off air. Some sources are saying soldiers loyal to President Pierre Nkurunziza control key areas, including the airport. But coup leaders insist that they remain in charge. The unrest began when Mr. Nkurunziza announced that he was seeking a third term.
After Burundian general said he had deposed President Pierre Nkurunziza for seeking an unconstitutional third term in office, sporadic gunfire can be heard in the center of Bujumbura. There was also heavy gunfire near the national radio and television station in the capital in the early hours of Thursday, but the head of the country's army says an attempted coup had failed and forces loyal to Nkurunziza are in control. Neither General Niyombare nor his spokespeople are immediately available to comment. With President Nkurunziza having gone to Tanzania to discuss the crisis with East African leaders on Wednesday, the presidency dismissed the declaration by Niyombare, who was fired as Nkurunziza's intelligence chief in February, saying on Facebook that the coup had been foiled. But late on Wednesday night, Nkurunziza's whereabouts were unclear. The Tanzanian official said he had not attended the talks in Dar es Salaam and had left to return to Burundi. But Niyombare said the capital's airport and all border crossings were closed. Activists say more than 20 people have been killed in weeks of protests against Nkurunziza's re-election bid, plunging Burundi into its worst crisis since an ethnically fueled civil war ended in 2005. The United Nations said more than 70,000 Burundians had fled to neighboring states in a region with a history of ethnic fighting.
Well, the Voice of America's Gabe Joslo is in Burundi, and he sent us this report on the situation in the country at the moment.
Out in the streets of Bujumbura today, we're hearing a lot of gunfire coming from different directions. Close to me right now, I'm hearing a lot from the area around the ruling party headquarters. We understand that police and military who are loyal to the president still are guarding that area and trying to make sure that other people don't enter there, and that could be why we're hearing some firing. We've also seen some of the major radio stations have been burned and attacked, so you see some smoke on the horizon. And overall, it's just a very tense situation. We don't really know what's going to happen next. It's still unclear who's really in charge here. The commander who made the coup announcement has not been heard from in a little while. And it's also not clear whether he really represents a unified armed force or if he is just speaking for himself and a few other dissidents. So, and the president himself is still in Tanzania, where he had gone for a trip to meet with regional leaders earlier this week. He's been trying to come back to the country and urging residents to stay calm and insisting that he's still in power. But from where I'm standing, it's very hard to tell.
The root of this incident is based in the president's decision to run for another term. Isn't that correct?
That's right. This attempted coup follows weeks of demonstrations against President Pierre Nkurunziza's bid for a third term. He claims that the Constitution allows him to do it, but most people say that it does not, that it limits him to 2 terms, and there have been very aggressive and occasionally violent protests in the streets for the last few days. Just yesterday, we were in the middle of a pretty big clash between protesters and police. This has been building for some time, and the root of it is certainly the president's ambitions. This follows the civil war in the country that was sort of ran parallel to the war in neighboring Rwanda. And it was a peace agreement in 2000 that was signed in Arusha, Tanzania, that ended that fighting and also set the framework for the government now and limits the president to 2 terms. So many people who are demonstrating here think that the president's political ambitions violate the rule of law that was established by this very important peace accord, and they worry that a lack of respect for that accord could produce more violence in the country. At this moment, we are still standing by. I mean, it's still uncertain, and there's hardly anybody in the streets. So getting information from on what's going on has been a bit difficult. We have heard that military commanders have been meeting to discuss what's next for them. As I said, it seems the president is still trying to return to Bujumbura. So right now it's all just up in the air, and we're waiting to see what happens next, hoping for a peaceful outcome. Gabe Joslow for Channels TV, Bujumbura.
Well, that's the very latest from the Voice of America's Gabe Joslow, who is in Bujumbura. We're going to take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll be looking at that Arusha Peace Accord as well as parts of the Constitution, which President Nkurunziza has been accused of not honoring and violating. Details in a moment. Please stay with us.